Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today I'm going to explain the Spanish movie called Time Crimes. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. Héctor, a middle-aged guy, and his wife Clara live in a home in the Spanish countryside that they are restoring. With binoculars, Héctor examines the woodland behind their house and notices a young woman removing her t-shirt and displaying her breasts. When his wife goes shopping, he investigates and discovers the woman naked and unconscious on the ground. A mystery figure with pink bandages on his face stabs him in the arm. While fleeing and breaking into a suspicious neighboring facility, Héctor uses a walkie-talkie to communicate with a scientist who warns him about the bandaged guy and directs him to his position, promising protection. The scientist persuades Héctor to hide in a gigantic mechanical gadget outside from the bandaged man. However, when he leaves the machine, Héctor discovers that he has traveled approximately an hour back in time. Héctor is referred to as Héctor 2 inches by the scientist, who reveals that the machine is an experimental time travel device. The scientist advises him to stay put and wait for the events to unfold. Despite the scientist's warnings, Héctor 2 drives away in his automobile, passing a cyclist, only to be run off the road by a van who cuts his head, which he covers with the bandage from his arm wound. As the blood absorbs into the bandage, it turns pink. The rider approaches to see if he's okay. It's the woman he spotted in the woods earlier. He then repeats the incidents by forcing her to strip in front of Héctor 1. When she flees, he catches her and knocks her out accidentally. When Héctor 1 arrives, he lays her out naked on the ground and stabs him in the arm. The woman manages to flee. Héctor 2 returns home and hears a scream, chasing a woman through his house and up into the roof. She slips and falls to her death while he tries to grab her. When Héctor 2 sees the body from the roof, he is terrified, assuming he has murdered his own wife. Héctor uses a walkie-talkie to convince the scientist to entice Héctor's past self to the lab with the threat of being pursued. Despite the scientist stating that there is a Héctor 3 who instructed him he must stop Héctor 2 from doing so, Héctor 2 insists on returning to the lab one more time. Héctor 2 persuades the scientist to send him back several seconds before he first appears after removing his bandages. He locates a van and attempts to run Héctor 2 off the road, but he crashes as well, putting him out. When he wakes up, he informs the scientist that he has been unable to halt Héctor 2 in any way. He runs into the woman again, scaring her into shouting, despite the fact that she does not recognize him as her attacker. Héctor 3 and the woman fled to Héctor's residence after hearing her cry. They start to drift apart. Héctor 3 locates and conceals his wife, then knows what has already occurred. He tracks down the woman, shaves her ponytail, hands her his wife's coat, and orders her to go upstairs and hide. Héctor 2 pursues her to the top of the building. Héctor 3 waits on his lawn with his wife, while Héctor 2 kills the woman inadvertently, then drives away, returning to the lab to become Héctor 3. In the distance, emergency vehicles can be heard arriving.